Hi everyone, this is Peschu. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to look at the topic of elasticity. As a matter of fact, the following few videos will be devoted to this topic because it's a big one. But what I want to do today is to introduce the topic, because I remember when I was at university and when I first began studying elasticity, the whole concept was too alien to me. I could not understand what was its purpose, and eventually when I figured it out, everything clicked and it actually made sense, and it was a very useful concept. But I remember struggling with it initially. And I've seen students have the same problem when we first tackle elasticity. They just do not understand what is its purpose, and we need to look through some practical examples until they kind of figure it out and see, oh, okay, so we can apply this in this way, and then it will give us some useful results. So this is what we'll do today. We'll gradually introduce the concept of price elasticity of demand, which is a specific type of elasticity, but I just want to approach elasticity in general. But to do that, we'll look at first three examples. Well, it's one example using three diagrams and three different demand curves. So let's say we have three different markets. So this would be market for A, market for B, and market for C. So three different goods and in three different markets, and we can have three different demands for each good. So this would be demand for A, this will be the demand for B, and this will be the demand for C, a vertical line. And let's say that your starting price in each market was P1. Actually, I'll use a number, say 10. So initially, each good had a price of 10, and let's say A, let's say 500. This will be our starting units. So three different goods, they have nothing in common but the price and the quantity that they're being demanded at the moment. So each good is being sold at a price of 10. Here we can have 10 $10, or any currency that you're using, and each good at the price of 10, the quantity demanded for that good will be equal to 500. Now, let's drop the price to 8. So P2 would be equal to 8, and see what happens. Now, let's say in the market for A, the quantity doubles. So it becomes 1000. In the market for B, the quantity increases, but it becomes, let's say, 600. And then in the market for C, the quantity does not change. And 8. So notice, we have effectively decreased the price by 20%. In the first case, the quantity demanded doubled, so the quantity demanded increased by 100%. In the second case, the quantity demanded increased by 20% from 500 to 600. Is it 20%? Yeah, it's a 20% increase. And then in the last one, the quantity did not change at all. And what could these goods be? Well, C could be some kind of like a life-saving medicine that people need on a permanent basis. So the fact that it became cheaper, it's its main determinant of demand wouldn't be really the price, it would be how many people need this medicine. And let's say 500 people needed it before, and when it became cheaper, it's still the same 500 people that need it, which is why the demand is vertical. And this has a specific name called perfectly inelastic demand, but we'll talk about that later, probably in another video. In the second case, we observe a 20% decline in the price and a 20% increase in the quantity demanded. And this could be, actually let me say, this would be the medicine. This can be, I don't know, let's say beef. If you're a vegetarian, then I guess that would be cauliflower or whatever vegetable you like to buy. And let's say this would be smartphone brand A, let's say. Smartphone brand A. Over here we see that a 20% decrease in the price actually doubled the quantity demanded. Now, wouldn't it be useful to have some kind of a tool that will actually enable us to forecast what this change would be? We'll say, imagine that you represent a firm, and the firm is asking itself, if we decrease the price by 10%, what is going to happen to our sales? How are people going to react to that? And effectively, this is what price elasticity of demand will enable us to do. It will be a tool, an instrument that will allow us to forecast and predict how the quantity demanded will change given that the price has changed. So let's have a look at elasticity. Okay, now we have this term called price elasticity of demand. We're not going to define it yet, but we'll gradually build a definition for it. Price elasticity of demand. Now, we have two terms, well, actually three terms. We have the price, that's the one. We have the elasticity, that's my second term, and we have demand, that's my third term. We can take this in a more general form. Let's say X elasticity of Y. So Y would correspond to demand, X would correspond to the price. The reason why we're doing this is because if we understand the meaning of this expression over here, anytime someone tells you a certain type of elasticity, and the different type, there are many types of elasticities. There's price elasticity of demand, price elasticity of supply, income elasticity of demand, cross price elasticity of demand, and so on. The list can go on. But the point is, if you understand how this expression works and what is its meaning, whenever someone throws an elasticity term at you, you'll be able to understand what they're talking about. So X elasticity of Y. The definition for this would be the responsiveness of Y with respect to a change of X. Let's write that down and we'll see what it means. So the responsiveness of Y with respect to a change in X. So, okay, what does this mean? Effectively, what this tells us is how much, i.e., how much y will change, and then I'll put in percentage. This is important. We are actually interested in percentage. How much y will change in percentage given that x changes by some percent. For example, 1%. Usually, ideally it would be a 1% change, but we can change this number easily. So this is what this tells us is, if I change y by, let's say, 15%, by how many percent will x change? Also, this will tell us not just by how much percentage will x change, but also whether x is increasing by that percent, or if x is decreasing. So the price elasticity of demand tells us how much, in percent terms, demand will change, given that we have changed the price by a certain percent. In that example that we just did a moment ago, we were decreasing the price by 20%, and we were looking at 3 different scenarios for 3 different goods and how much their quantity demanded was changing. It was increasing in one case by 100%, in another by 20%, and in the third one it was not changing at all. But this is it. Price elasticity of demand, how much demand will change in percentage terms or in relative terms given that the price has changed. Income elasticity of demand, how much the demand will be changed in percentage term given that income is changing. Price elasticity of supply, how much the quantity supplied will change in percent or in relative terms given that the price is changed, and so on. So it's always how much the second one will change given that we have an initial change in the first one. This is what elasticity measures. It's a measure of responsiveness, but responsiveness simply is a percentage change. And there is a general formula. We can also include that one. So the general formula is this. So the x elasticity of y would be equal to the percentage change in x. Sorry, my mistake. Everybody can make a mistake. The percentage change in y divided by the percentage change in x. This is more accurate. Okay, now this triangle, it stands for delta. If you haven't seen this, this is delta, and it's equal to change. So percentage change in y divided by the percentage change in x. This is a general and probably the most simple formula for elasticity. You should look up your textbook and see the kind of formula you're using, because we can have the simple elasticity, we can have the point elasticity, we can have the arc elasticity, and there are some variations to this. But in the most general term, this would be the formula that you'll be seeing. So if we are having the price elasticity of demand, we can draw the formula or write the formula like this. So it will be the percentage change in, so in demand divided by the percentage change in the price. There you go. This is our formula. And in the video that will follow, when I will speak specifically about price elasticity of demand, we're going to expand this, and we'll figure out how to calculate percentage change. If we have, let's say, income elasticity of demand, Y stands for income, this would mean that we have the percentage change in demand divided by the percentage change in income. If we have price elasticity of supply, using the same formula, it will be the percentage change in supply given the percentage change in, or divided by the percentage change in the price. So you see, looking at these three examples, by knowing the general formula, we immediately were able to derive the formula for the other types of elasticities. Not only that, but by understanding the meaning of elasticity and how it's being used, we can now define each of these three without even having studied them properly. Price elasticity of demand will tell us the responsiveness of quantity demanded with respect to a change in the price. Income elasticity of demand will tell us the responsiveness of quantity demanded with respect to a change in income. Price elasticity of supply will tell us the responsiveness of quantity supplied with respect to a change in the price. That's all it is. Now, it can get more complicated because we actually need to know what these values are and what they tell us, how to use them, because we haven't really done any application at the moment, but at least hopefully after watching this you would be able to understand what is the meaning of this term elasticity. And in the following videos, like I said, I'll focus on each of these and some more in order to learn how to use them and see them in real world, or not real world, but more concrete examples. Okay guys, well, thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you like this video. If you did not like it, hit dislike. Let me know why, how I can improve it. Please subscribe to the channel, this will help, and I hope to see you again. Take care.